Yo guys, my name's Pim, and what the fuck? I waited 2 years to see a movie that was just a filler for a time period we passed. I expected maybe a little too much from Black Widow, but that's on me. But what the
language?
Black Widow was a okay movie, and this is my review on it with video, because yesterday I uploaded the one with just audio. And if you're wondering, but this is a different whole audio track. That's true, because I noticed that 17 minutes is a bit long for a
language
review. So I'm gonna try to make it shorter and cut out things that weren't as important as me just saying all the time. So here we go. Black Widow. Things I didn't like. I didn't like how they treated Taskmaster. What? I get the idea of trying to make Black Widow, her guilt, a thing with the daughter of the Russian guy. And let's call him Russian guy from now on. But Taskmaster is such a cool character, and with this, Marvel basically just threw away the whole character of Taskmaster. I was expecting someone we already knew from the past, considering they made sure the name wasn't on the posters, and I was like, okay, so that must mean that we already know the character from previous movies or previous things. So I was expecting someone like, for example, Hammer, because he is in prison because of Black Widow. And it will be logical for him to use tech to scan every move of the person that he's trying to mimic. Would I have liked to see Hammer instead of this? Probably not, but you get my point. I was expecting someone who already knew, so it would be a big surprise, like, oh my god, that's Taskmaster. Instead of, oh my god, that's the girl I didn't even recognize the first time. And until they said, oh, it's my daughter, I was like, oh, okay. It was such a meh reveal. And that's basically how I feel about the entirety of the movie. The whole film, I liked it. It's a decent movie. It's not a bad movie. It's okay. And the reason why it's okay is probably also because there is no danger involved for the main character. If you make a movie that takes place before her death, then like when I was in the theater, I kept thinking to myself, oh, but she's not gonna die, because she is gonna die in later movies, not right now. So every time that she was in danger, I was like, yeah, well, let's just see how she figures out to not die. But I gotta say, the other characters were cool, and it didn't. That whole thing that just talked about does not count for them, because they're new. Things I also didn't like. I didn't like how they underused Red Guardian. It's such a cool character to me. It's basically a Captain America, but then basically ripped off, and that's the whole point of his character. And they basically just made him the funny fat dude. And I get being a comedian. I get being a comedian in serious moments, because that's also how I react when I'm stressed. I tend to make jokes in moments that jokes are not supposed to be happening. There's a coping mechanism. But I would have liked to see more of his emotions and the way he felt for being used by the Russian government as basically just a toy. That's also what he says. There's all the propaganda and stuff. Well, that sounds more Italian. Okay. Like, he says that he trusted the government, if I'm correct. Maybe I'm not correct, so this might be bullcrap. But he says that they just threw him in prison because he wasn't useful anymore. And I really liked how he's basically a fanboy of Captain America. And that's a cool thing. But the character was cool, but they just underused him. And the fight against Taskmaster is also, in the trailers it looked really cool, but in the movie it's just like, okay, he's just getting beaten up by the Taskmaster, not that many cool stuff going on there. things I also didn't like. Let me think. Yes, I just opened my notes to see whatever I wrote when I just got out of the theater. Okay, the ending was weird, and with ending I mean the first credit scene. Or it isn't really a credit scene because it's before the credits, but let's just say it's a credit scene because it's basically not part of the original movie. You know what I mean. The scene where she's on her bike with her signature blonde hair from Infinity War, and the guy that gives her the helicopter and her arsenal and stuff. The dude that picture, this guy. He provided the Quinjet for the Captain America team in Avengers Infinity War, which does not add up to the whole Civil War story, because Captain America already had the Quinjet at the end of Civil War, and then Natasha Romanoff says, "Let's get my friends out of prison," which Captain America already did. So, which friends is she talking about? And why is it the same Quinjet? Do they have two and do they have one that's just locked in storage? I just found that really interesting because it makes me think that either Captain America lost the Quinjet and the other guy, this guy, just found it again, or there are indeed two Quinjets and they just use one of the two, which is probably not the one they're gonna go with. And if they do, it'd be really a lame excuse for just a continuity error. But yeah, I found that quite interesting. But the last credit scene, that was cool. I gotta say that was a cool scene, because if you have watched the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you recognize who that person was, who was basically recruiting Yelena as probably the new Black Widow, or at least maybe some version of Black Widow. And I really like that, and it's probably also a little teaser to the Hawkeye show. So yeah, that's that. Things I did like. I really liked the suits and the way they made them. I found Red Guardian's suit actually really cool because it reminded me of Captain America in the first Avenger, like with all the straps, and it looks a bit like a modern skydiving suit, but then more military-like, which I really enjoyed. I really like that design. I also love the last Black Widow suit because it's her most comic accurate suit and it still works, which I really enjoyed. I was like, oh, the gold one is from the comics and it looks cool and it's great with the gold bracelets and the gold belt. That was cool. I also like the white suit. I think her red hair and the white suit really blend well together. And yeah, I also like the way they gave her green vest a little story. It isn't it isn't that important, but it's like when I'm probably gonna watch Infinity War and be like, oh, it's good because she wears the vest that she got from her sister. What did I also like? I liked the CGI was great, although there wasn't much to be like, oh damn, like they made Thanos look real or that type of stuff. It was just I never noticed a thing that was off. Okay, so I did things I didn't like, things I liked. Let's go on to things I found meh, like I found okay. The music was great. I just think that it wasn't that memorable, like the Avengers theme or most of John Williams' music. I liked the music. It suited the scenes well, but it wasn't that rememberable. I found that's basically the only thing I found meh. So let's get on to things I did like, because now I did things I didn't like I found meh. So let's get to the positive stuff. Okay, this is probably gonna end up being all over the place, so we're gonna edit this to make sense. But everybody, thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video, because I made it shorter than my original audio review. So if you liked it, please leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and I hope to see you next time. Overall rating, 7.843 out of 10.